All right, so one of the wilder waiver claim situations we've had in quite some time. If you've missed the news, Odell Beckham Jr. no longer a Cleveland Brown. He has been cut. We knew that there were some issues with Odell and this Browns team. He felt he should get the ball more, which is a very classic complaint for wide receivers. It has been the season from hell for Cleveland, and it continues kind of with this Odell thing, which we thought that he was going to be at least a solid contributor for the Browns, as obviously a guy they gave up a lot of capital for back when they traded for Jabril Peppers, a first and third round pick, and end up that Giants won the trade, no denying that. What's interesting about Odell is apparently there was the complaints with Odell Beckham Sr. that he wasn't getting the ball enough, and he posted that clip of Odell not getting the ball, and that might be true. It's also worth mentioning it's not like he's playing as well as he has with the Jets, then he goes to the Browns. Both things can be true. He can have sort of taken a step back in his career, and also the offense isn't really built around him. According to Pro Football Focus, he is the 64th best receiver this season, so that's not quite as good as the fourth best receiver according to them he was in 2018. That being said, how much of that is just he's in a scheme where he can't really use his talents as much, where the Giants, the scheme was get the ball to Odell Beckham Jr., which obviously used his talents a lot more, and part of it too is he's so good with the ball in his hands, he's not adding that value with the Browns because they don't just throw him quick slants that he takes to the house for 75 yards like he did with the Giants. So that's some intrigue, and that's why I'm kind of fascinated about this decision. He is someone who I think is worth taking a flyer on, and what's very fascinating is if you claim him off of waivers, then the contract is not that bad to pick up. And we should probably talk about how this situation works. I think there's some confusion going on. Odell cannot sign wherever he wants. Odell cannot just go to the Packers and sign a contract with them. That is not how it works anymore. After the trade deadline, when you get cut as a veteran, you're not just cut and you can go wherever. You're not released. That's actually not the correct term. You've been waived. And what that means is that you have to pass through waivers before you become a free agent. The way waivers works is it's similar to the draft order. It's just worst record to best record, and you can claim a player off of waivers. And if you do, and you're the worst team to claim him off of waivers, then you get that player, but also have to pay for his contract. However, Odell's contract is incredibly low risk. He's only going to get $1 million because, the Browns already paid him a decent chunk of his remaining contract. So for this year, he only gets about $1 million. And then for the next 2 years, he's going to get about $15 million a year, but none of that is guaranteed. So that's the intrigue is, you don't have to worry too much about the extra money. If he sucks and you don't like the fit, you can just get rid of him. It's basically a no-risk, high-reward move. So who should make this move? If you're looking, down the line, so these are the teams that realistically have a chance at Beckham, although I would say there is always the option that Beckham could say, listen, I'm going to a contender. If you're not a contender, don't claim me, I won't play for you. We've seen players have some success in the past with stuff like that, although we've also seen teams say, I don't care, you're under contract. So these are the 10 teams that I'm going to list them off from, teams that would have highest waiver priority to lowest waiver priority in the top 10. It's the Detroit Lions, then the Texans, Dolphins, Jaguars, Giants, Washington football team, Jets, Eagles, Colts, Seahawks, in that order. So realistically, I think the Lions, that's probably what happens. It's kind of the most boring outcome is he just goes to a team that isn't that great. But, honestly, for the Lions, why not? Why not take a flyer? You're not good right now. This is a rebuilding year, so take a chance on the potential. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Same thing with the Texans. I think it's a similar idea. I think the Dolphins is actually really fascinating. See if he and Tua, that actually might be a good fit. I think that would be a lot similar to back in the Giants days. Maybe there's something to that. You have also, Jacksonville, which would be a big win for the Jaguars. They need some receiving help, so that would help. The Giants would be fascinating because he'd return home, and I could legitimately see that happen. Also, I'm going to skip the Washington football team. The Jets at 7. 7 are another fascinating one for me, just because they're another team similar with the Jaguars, could use some receiving help. So that kind of stuff, it's really interesting. So one of the more fascinating waiver claim situations we've had in quite some time. From my understanding, typically what they do is the deadline to claim him would be noon the next day, so noon tomorrow. Unfortunately, I will be out of town. I don't know if I'll be able to make a video about that. Probably not. So you'll have to watch other people talk about it, but maybe I'll probably tweet about it. So follow me on Twitter at Jackson Kruger. You can at least get my thoughts there. Yeah, my opinion, if you're one of these teams like the Lions or Texans, yeah, take a flyer, take a claim on him. And if you get a sort of a tryout for 7 games or so, and if you like it, well, then you can keep him for a couple years. I don't know if Odell would like it, but at least you have a talented player that could work. And if it doesn't, it's you can cut him for no loss. So that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching. Actually, one more thing. I want to talk about the Browns of it all. I realized I should probably talk about this from their perspective a little bit. It's weird, right? Because I think a lot of people are going to say, why didn't you just trade Odell? Why are you now releasing him a week after the trade deadline? I think it's possible that it was the kind of thing where Odell kind of hinted at wanting to be traded, but then when he wasn't, basically said, like, what are you doing? I want to get out of here. And it kind of boiled up after the trade deadline, in which case, like, it's not quite so binary as they made it this way. I think clearly, there is this chance that maybe teams just view Odell as toxic. People view Odell as someone that you can't win with, which I don't. I think that you can win with guys who are, I don't know the best word, a bit diva-ish, right? Maybe that is the best word. At least that's the reputation Odell has. And I think that, we've seen guys have success. The Buccaneers just won a Super Bowl with Antonio Brown, right? It can happen. You kind of just have to have a good structure, and you have to be able to pull guys in. And maybe this would not be good then for a team like, the Texans, who have been kind of all over the place. Although, the nice thing is with like those top 3 teams, Lions, Texans, and Dolphins, they all seem to have at least like decent, like, personnel coaching, like I'm not talking about X's and O's, but just in terms of like, seems like the players like at least like those coaches. So at least it's not a complete disaster. Although granted, you could say the same thing about Cleveland. So I actually think there's a chance Cleveland could be better from this. I do think it is a real thing. I've said, I think you can make the argument that, Odell Beckham Jr. is a great receiver who helps a football team, and that football team is not the Cleveland Browns. I think you can say the Cleveland Browns are better off without him. They were better off without Odell after he got injured. Well, Baker was better off without Odell. The team was not. The team did score less points once Odell got injured. However, it wasn't massive, and maybe you could argue the small sample size threw that off. So I don't know. It's a fascinating situation and one of the more unique waiver claims of all time. So again, let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. Yeah, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.